have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and today we are going to talk about the Tucker Carlson paradox. Now, first and foremost, I want to say this. I want, and we need as human beings, as many prominent people as possible to come forward and speak the truth and then distribute that truth in a viable fashion where people actually consume it. All right, I want to get that out of the way right now. And that's why many times now, over the last 5+ years, really closer to a decade, I will give him that. I have come out in favor of many of the things that Tucker Carlson has talked about and the news stories that he has focused on, okay? And he's made that journey from the mainstream media into one of the kingpins, if not like the kingpin of the alternative media. And that's not to knock an Alex Jones or a Joe Rogan. When you look at, Rogan, I mean, he's got a huge following. But what he doesn't have is a huge baseline of boomer-esque people. I mean, they're calling my generation boomers, but I'm talking about the true boomers, like the 70+ people that have watched him for decades. And Tucker has that, right? And the other thing that Tucker has that neither Jones nor Rogan have is a #1 mainstream media news show and working on a multitude of mainstream media networks. I mean, the guy worked for them all, MSNBC, CNN, of course, ending his career at Fox News. So to bring somebody around to the 9/11 stuff, and Tucker says that he's going to be doing a documentary series now on 9/11, where he's going to talk to like the real experts. And look, from the clips that I've seen of the interview, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched basically a lot of the beginning and then the stuff that was put out in clips today. I did not see any clip where Curt Weldon revealed that 2 of the hijackers, according to members of the FBI, the highest levels, he said on my show, we're going to show this clip, that 2 of the hijackers were on the CIA payroll. That's a confirmation. That's a huge story and should be everywhere. And I'm going to show you how the mainstream media has not only ignored that Curt Weldon has said that, and let alone on my show. I'm not sure if he said it on Tucker's show, but they've ignored the entire interview. They ignored the entire interview. And this shows really how irrelevant mainstream media is when they're not even willing to talk about the truth of an event now 20 plus years ago. 20 plus years ago. We'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary of that this year. And as Tucker correctly says, changed all of foreign and domestic policy, changed the world for the worse. Period. Full stop. And that's really the driving force to me that got me in a movement and a motivation to understand that all of this matters. Now, it was darker things along the way that, quite frankly, made 9/11 look like, in the rear view when you saw future plans by the people that were promoting the lie and probably involved in the attacks themselves. At least in a director model or in a cover-up model. Because as I've often talked about, and one of the things that we need to focus on when we are focusing on 9/11 truth, that this is an international intelligence operation. All right? And that was focused on a bit in this interview. Curt Weldon has brought Iran into the mix via the Bin Laden network and Bin Laden himself. Pakistan is something that was highlighted in my film, Fabled Enemies. Israel was also highlighted in Fabled Enemies. The continuity of government program within our government and the drills that day is also highlighted in Fabled Enemies. All of that and more, Saudi Arabia funding, it fits in the puzzle. Okay? So kudos to Tucker for that. Now, on the flip side of that, he's about to travel to Ireland to promote a guy that just got convicted of sexual assault, violent sexual assault, okay, in a civil court in Ireland. What? And this guy wants to run for president. Now here's the thing. I don't play team baseball. And I've talked about the fact that it's grotesque that the White House had him there, that anybody is promoting these guys. And really, if these guys are genuine, I'm trying to save them. I'm trying to stop them from promoting evil people, if indeed they are genuine. Because people like Candace Owens, who, just totally and completely tried to blur the lines on the narrative on McGregor and what had actually happened with a bunch of these other conservative talking heads. All right? They're also the same people that promote Andrew Tate. And Tucker has had Andrew Tate on. And I actually watched that whole interview. Very riveting interview. All right? And I would be lying if I said that I didn't agree with some of the things said on both sides. That doesn't mean Tate's a good person. That doesn't mean that Milk Bar TV hasn't exposed the fact that, that girl in the video with the belt, with that consensual behavior that they both talked about after the fact, is 14 in that video. Okay? So, it's hard enough for me to get into the mainstream or the main algorithm. It's disturbing to me when, especially in a case like McGregor's, where I've done 5+ years work on it, and he should be in prison for what he did. And there are other accounts and cases that we've gone over that he was never charged with, and his connections to organized crime there are grotesque. All right? That doesn't just change. And it really, I can't even get this information into the alternative, quote-unquote alternative media. Do you want a guy like that in charge of anything? I'm going to take a pause really quickly, and then we're going to get into these stories a little bit more. We're going to play the Curt Weldon clip, of course, where he talks about, on this very show, again, hijackers being directly on the CIA payroll. CIA payroll should be front page news everywhere. Not a whisper anywhere. So, Folks, first of all, thumbs it up, subscribe and share if you're watching this, please. Let's get a 50 to 100 thumbs up right out of the gates. Please check out the documentary films I've done on 9/11 and these other subjects that I've talked about. Loose Change Final Cut and Fabled Enemies. In fact, send those to the Tuckins. He needs to see them if he's going to make a documentary series. I think they're a good baseline. But I really need your help. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. Jamma and Lamb, thank you so much for the support today. We really do appreciate it. Let's get into it. Tucker Carlson interviews Conor McGregor and visits pub as fighter eyes presidential run. Onwards for Ireland. Right? Now, at least in this, they talk about Nikita Hand. Now, obviously, this thing hasn't aired yet. But if Tucker gives this guy a venue to spew lies yet again about that case, that's disgusting enough. Right? We've talked about the fact that Ireland, in many cases, has turned on McGregor. You know, that big concert, Limp Bizkit, Loserville. Bunch of people booing McGregor twice. And good on Fred for, like, not trying to reach out to him or get him into the crowd. Good. But if you don't think it bothers me that this guy is still talked about in the mainstream like everything he's done okay, you don't think it bothers me. I'm a huge combat sports fan. And BKFC is one of my favorites. He's now a part of that organization. And when I watch the thing, now 9 times out of 10, I got to see a drugged out, coked up McGregor promoting this thing, knowing the other monstrosities that he's responsible for. It's gross. It's very tough for me. It's another level to prop that guy up and put him in political power. It's nuts. Okay, now on the flip side of that, I mean, let's talk Curt Weldon. Okay, let's talk about this interview. When you type in Tucker Carlson, I'm going to show you this. Tucker Carlson, all right, and Curt Weldon, rightfully so, the first thing that comes up, hold on one second, is iHeart on the news feed, right, which is the podcast, and on the all feed right here. You see it? Like, let's just scroll down. Okay, I guess General Michael Flynn has said something about it. We should go and check that out too. We'll click that, see what he has to say. But notice there's not one news outlet. Look at these stories. Curt Weldon, 2005, 2011, 2006, 2006. Nothing about this. Real Clear Politics. To them, again, to their credit, at least, you get down here, they don't even show you this on Google. At least the alt media is touching this. But are they touching this? All right. And here is Curt Weldon talking about the CIA and hijackers directly on the payroll. Again, in the film Fabled Enemies, I showed that Deborah Albritton had called the CIA on her neighbor who was one of the hijackers, and they did nothing there as well. This seems to be the norm again and again and again, that at least some of these people were protected at the highest levels. The al-Bayoumi story has now gotten out there into the mainstream, but this wasn't really new. It's, again, something I reported on.
It's been confirmed to me through FBI friends at the highest level that two of the terrorists in 9/11 were on the CIA payroll. Two of them. So on the U.S. CIA payroll.
Again, when you look at that, you've had people like Richard Clark come out, talk about al-Bayoumi. We certainly have the Saudi funding. If you believe the bin Laden stories, there's a lot more connections to Pakistan than there are on the named places of war on terror, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc., especially when you talk about the funding prior to 9/11 with General Mahmoud Ahmed out of the ISI. And when you talk about the Central Intelligence Agency, the ISI, the CIA, MI6, they've kind of worked hand in hand since the 70s. I also put that in there. And the Mujahideen bin Laden network in Russia. So there it is. Those should be headlines everywhere. And you know, I'm going to wrap this thing up pretty quickly, because if you haven't seen my work on 9/11 and you're new to this channel, in the documentary section, it's essential. It's essential. And the administration just declassified some documents and put them out about Crossfire Hurricane. Again, there seems to be more. I'm not sure what kind of criminal accountability we can actually get from 9/11. You know, Curt Weldon, in my interview, and of course the Tucker interview, is calling for a independent investigation into 9/11. If it is really going to be truly independent, let me volunteer my services. I promise you this. If I was put on in any capacity, something that was actually looking at 9/11, I promise you I would be uncompromisable. No matter what was said to me or done to me or threatened to me, I would be uncompromisable. I don't know that there are a lot of people out there that would be, because I think it's extremely dangerous, because you are talking about a multitude of different intelligence agencies, assets. This is the coup de grace, right? And I'll just say this, Bermas Brigade. Like I said, yes, I need your help financially, and the links are down below, and that's great. I need you to flood Tucker Carlson's social media, especially X, with clips and links to fabled enemies, okay, on one end, so we get the 9/11 story right, but on the other end, to show him that there is, show him my Conor McGregor thread from years ago that clearly shows this guy is a monster and should have been prosecuted in criminal court. We got to stop it. And here's the other thing. You know, the very last time I did Alex Jones, which is now quite a while ago. We're running not close to a year, but probably 8 or 9 months. I did an hour on McGregor before the court cases. And Jones got upset about it on air. I just want to I want to clear the air here. They invited me back after that. They invited me back actually while I was in New York visiting for my buddy's funeral, so I could not do it. So I don't want to put any conspiracy theories out there that got me next. I hope that Jones, knowing this, because he knows it, all right, and now that it's gotten political, steps in and warns Tucker and says that he doesn't like it. I don't have Tucker Carlson's number. I don't know the guy. I'm just putting this out there. You guys are the true info warriors. Remember, that's my original show, was the Info Warrior with Jason Bermas. And it's really up to you to get this information out to other people, because the algorithms are pushing certain narratives. And they're pushing ones that push divisiveness, that are along party lines, right? And we don't do that here. That's no bueno. Just not good. Not what we're doing. Instead, we promote the truth no matter what. Because, folks, like I always say, it is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I want to thank you again. I love you guys. We'll see you on the flip side.